All right, beautiful. We have come now to the beginning of our newspaper review segment. I hope you are doing well. My name is Vicious Nudi.
And my name is George Gishuru. Indeed, let us look what is being reported in the dailies this morning. And we start with the Standard. They use and rather they go with the headline, Ruto new strategy hurts middle class. President Ruto's shift to a pro-poor agenda raises questions amid economic strain on Kenya's middle class. With new taxes and a ballooning cost of living, many middle-income earners feel sidelined as his administration focuses on the most vulnerable. It's a story that you can read on page number 4, and the president says, through targeted initiatives such as cash transfers, we are driving sustainable growth and empowering communities. So you can read that on page number 4. Can backing the vulnerable save his fragile legacy? That is the question the Standard is asking. President shifts political strategy to champion the marginalized amid mounting discontent, amid criticism and economic strain. He rebrands his leadership to focus on empowering the poor. It's a story that you can focus and read on page number 4. Questions over SHA recruitment. There is a row, apparently. Amid a cloud of controversy, the SHA leadership has appointed 24 senior officials to key roles, raising transparency concerns over hiring practices. It's a story that you can read on page number 2. Uncertainty among ex-NHIF staff as SHA board picks top managers. The appointments were communicated through internal memo by board chairman. The fate of other employees is unclear, with no communication on interviews. So you can read that on page 2. 1,700, the number of NHIF staff who were automatically transitioned to SHA following a directive by the Public Service Commission. So you can read that on page number 2. Now, there is a story here, a very disturbing story, and this is a missing teenager. Keno family appeals for help, and this is the family of Maxine Tabitha Wainaina is in distress following the disappearance of the teenager. It is now 4 days since the 16-year-old went missing after leaving her home in the Kagondo area in Keno, Nairobi. She is a student at Loreto High School in Lemuru, and the family is reported the disappearance at Keno police station. So any help will be appreciated, and you can report to the Keno police station in case you have sight of Maxine Tabitha Wainaina. Then other stories here, tomatoes, cooking oil prices to go up this holiday. That is a story as we enter the week for the festivities. Cost of Christmas, they say, highs and lows of food prices this festive season. Increase in prices has been linked to macroeconomic factors and rains. There has been a drop in food prices due to favorable weather conditions. Read that story on page number 8. DRC Rwanda peace talks cancelled. That is in the world news. Looking at some other stories, Raila's race for AUC chair gathers pace after debate. The former prime minister envisions a continent where cities are interconnected through high-speed rail and fiber optic cables. Raila says he will champion open borders, visa-free movement within Africa, and seamless cross-border trade. The youth will lead this transformation, driving innovation with artificial intelligence and data, smart farming, telemedicine, and accessible forward-looking education, shaping Africa as a global leader and change maker. That is according to the former Prime Minister. It's a story that you can read on page number 10, right? Looking at other stories inside, Migori blames corrupt staff for failure to meet revenue targets. Official says some unscrupulous officers collude with businesses to deny county government tax. The administration is yet to automate all its revenue collection systems. Still on county news, my county secretary hid in toilet to avoid arrest. That is Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza. malaria, and official malaria fight strategies are bearing fruit. That is in Trans Nzoia County. Now, the pullout today, it's the health and science pullout. And a father's fight to save epileptic child. Evans Otieno shares his raw emotional journey of caring for his daughter with epilepsy, urging the government to act and raise awareness for those living with the condition. It's a story that you can read on page 4 and 5. And then there is an article here by the Kenya Medical Association Secretary General Dr. Marion, and she says neglected health guardians, a call to prioritize doctors' welfare. Despite their sacrifices, our doctors face neglect, overwork, and lack of support, compromising their health, safety, and patient care. You can read that also on the page 3 pullout as well. Let's go to the counties. Embu Roads Authority casual workers lament over delayed pay. Read that on page number 17 and other stories. Page 18. Wamatangi revives 1.1 billion shillings Githunguri Bibirioni hospitals. Kiambu County pushes to complete health facilities after years of delays. Governor says tender process underway to finish Githunguri hospitals construction. And the union, that is the Union of Clinical Officers, has warned that over 60% of private health facilities in the country face closure due to the new rules introduced by the Social Health Authority, that is SHA. On the business section, Uganda, Rwanda seek extension of oil pipeline from Eldoret Depot. Isuzu East Africa moves to fill void left by CMC Motors. You can read those stories on page number 19. Then I see on the world news, South Korean democracy holds firm against Yoon's martial law bid. President Yoon Suk Yeol was removed by a secret ballot in a tense vote in the Onit parliamentary chamber. The vote sparked wild jubilation, with polls suggesting more than 75% of the public supported the impeachment of South Korean leader. You can read that on page 23. Let's go to the sports pages. The back page, Arsenal pray for things to look up again. The Gunners were held to a frustrating goalless draw by Everton. Arsenal are on 30 points after 16 games, having failed to win half of their games. And Nuno praises Forest in late win. And if you are late to the news, the mighty Manchester United came from a goal down to beat Manchester City 2-1 at the Etihad Stadium last night. I thought that was important for you to know. Equity and KCB crowned Eldoret Volleyball Tournament champions, and Hiromi leads White Cup to Ndume Cup glory. That's on page 29 as well. So that is what's being reported in the Standard this morning.
All right, and coming down to the Daily Nation, I see the top story here. SHIF creates two classes of Kenyans as grievances pile up over the new healthcare system, including protests about minimal settlement of medical expenses by the Social Health Authority, SHA, and limited benefits for most Kenyans. Civil servants are not only getting priority treatment in facilities, but are also enjoying unlimited cover. And this is a story that is covered on page 4 to the detriment definitely of the fellow Kenyans, which is quite sad. I see here that on still the same story that these civil servants enjoy preferential treatment. Citizens in the private sector who often pay higher premiums for similar or lesser health packages find themselves on the sidelines. So who was SHIF meant to advantage in the end? So grievances are there due to the minimal settlement of medical expenses and limited benefits that have been piling up. And moving on, still on the top page, I see devolution, why governors and senators are clashing over county funds. That's a story covered on page 8. Page 7 is talking about from Nairobi to Harare, how Patni extended his grid. This is a story covered on page 7. And still on the top page, were on graft, 2 MPs and 2 ex-governors set to face charges. MPs Gladys Boss, Uasin Gishu woman rep, and her Bungoma counterpart, Catherine Wambilianga, and former governors Mohamed Mohamud and Alex Tolgos from Elgeyo Marakwet are among those facing prosecution. A story covered on page 2, and 902 million shillings is the amount of money in the payments made by Wajir County to 12 companies associated with Mr. Mohamud and his immediate family members. Still on the top page, I see this is where you failed Kenyans, activists tell the president. So lobbyists say the Kenya Kwanza administration's 2-year tenure has been marked by policies that worsened economic inequality, deepened corruption, and stifled the democratic space. And I also see South Korea's acting president moves to reassure allies. That's on the international news. Acting President Han Duck-soo moves to reassure the country's allies and calm financial markets a day after President Yoon Suk Yeol was impeached and suspended from his duties over a martial law attempt. And moving on to the DN2 this morning, of course, we have the high schooler, and you can look at the stories regarding the junior sport that your kid can enjoy even during this season, and one of them being Joy Jerop among the winners of First Lady Mazingira Award 2024. Coming down to the sports page, first of all, the back page here, coaching contract. Kenya walks on thin ice. So Kenya could pay dearly for undisclosed coaching contracts signed in the past, and FKF's casual approach to handling binding agreements. And page 30 here is talking about Legirma seals Nyali Open title in style. And lastly, KVF eyes redemption in 2025 after a year of controversies affect national teams. And that's it for the Daily Nation.
All right, quickly we look at the Business Daily. Lost lines, dead users, and 3 billion shillings unclaimed M-Pesa. So Kenyans have failed to claim the 3.2 billion shillings lying idle in M-Pesa wallets, forcing the telecoms operator to hand over the billions to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. That's the story you can read on page the front page and also on page 2. 25 KRA staff sacked in corruption purge, 549 million shillings seized. It's a story which is also on the front page and also on page 2. Top banks book 18 billion shillings gain on bond prices rise. And then I see companies with loan facilities pegged on treasury bill rates are set to significant savings in finance costs following the fall in the interest rates on the short-term securities in the last 2 months. And companies surrendered 407 million shares of unknown value and 3.8 billion shillings in cash to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority in the financial year ended June 2024. And there is a quote here by Agape Ishengoma and Alice Mureithi. Kenya can align itself with global best practices, providing a predictable and business-friendly tax environment. That's on page 9. You can read more.
All right, and I see it's 47 minutes past 7, the perfect time for us to now have a look at the video of the day.